Okay. Hello, everybody. Good to see a lot of you here. I'm sure most of you heard about the Ecency, so let me start by some statistics or stats. And these numbers are last 30 days stats. How many unique users visiting ecency.com or using the image hoster or our full node. These numbers are like really, really mind-boggling, and it's like we never had this kind of numbers before, and it's constantly keep growing. And recently we had some, some server loading issues, so we had to update our servers to keep up with the traffic. So it's really great to see that we are reaching more and more outside world. And these numbers are mostly coming from the Google search, the organic Google searches, and new people joining in and finding Ecency and Hive organically. So this is really great. And our ranks are also growing as the traffic on a website grows from search results. Right now in United States, we are top 9,000. So this is also great. And majority of our traffic is coming from there, because the most of the blog posts and content is in English, and the search engine mostly direct user from United States. But in other countries also we can see quite a lot of traffic, and user base is growing. So that's great to see. And other numbers we have is we have a pointing system. If you are familiar with ecency.com or Ecency mobile application, we have for each activity you do on a application or website, you earn some points, and you can use them within application. And we are about 40% our total supply, and that's great to see, because that shows how many activities is going on the website and mobile application. And we have a points purchase. Some people can purchase points with the Hive and HBD. So we sent those recently to the DHF, and we are constantly onboarding accounts, onboarding new people and delegating them. There are more than 70,000 people joined through Ecency signups, and it is one of the easiest sign up methods, where you just enter your email, and you, in a couple steps, you get your account set up. And so why Ecency is different? We are trying to make sure that we give dedicated experience for the different devices. You visiting website from a desktop, or you visiting from mobile application, or you visiting from desktop application. In all these cases, we are making sure that device is utilized properly and get dedicated experience across the device. And the next step is giving you dedicated in your own language interface that you can feel comfortable with, and you can learn about the new technology when you're joining. It's especially important when people coming from the search engines, they don't know anything about Hive or Ecency, so they can learn in their own languages, and they can, of course, change as well the currencies they seeing on the screen. By default, we see the US dollars, but you can change it to any currency you want as well. So you feel, it feels more natural. It feels more, comfortable when you're seeing it in your own native languages. And on top of that, we have, of course, the pointing system, where each activity earns you something, and you can use those within application. And it encourages more engagement and more helps with the retention as well. And we have seen improvements with the pointing system that compared to other front ends, there are more retention, more engagement, and more time spent on the website, which helps overall in the ranking as well, and in incoming traffic, and as well as outside exposure, where you want to attract more outside people into the Web 3.0, and this is kind of combination of all this helps together bringing more users and then introducing them to the new technology. And some technical overview. What we have is our website, mobile application, as well as desktop application, all are open source. And if you want to, if you are a developer and want to contribute or be part of the team, you can easily do so. We have seen a couple of the instances of our website code being hosted as one of these is I think the Proof of Brain community who forked our website, and then they create their own instance integrating their own token, which is awesome to see. And we have a running full dedicated node as well for our website and mobile applications. Of course, there are some challenges with scaling. So I will talk in the next slides about how we're trying to solve and how we're trying to solve these issues in the future. And we have an image proxy, image server, where we host terabytes of images from various, the content over the years people created, and then image links get all, sometimes the original image site or link dies, but we have to make sure that user experience is more smooth. Our image proxy helps with that and tries to serve as images as long as we can, and make user experience better. And of course, we are onboarding more people, as I mentioned earlier, with the easy sign up methods. And there are some challenges as well here. I will talk in a next slideshow. But in overall, the more and I mean the more not abused users getting in, so the more organic user coming in through the searches, they usually get an account without issue. But there are cases where there is, the people trying to create multiple accounts and trying to abuse the system. So we had to solve some of the issues with that as well. And we have a notification service, which is also separate from the HiveMind notification service. In other front ends, you see some notification service which is using the unified HiveMind notification service, and that's also great, and it has some advantages. But we have been working on notifications way before HiveMind existed. We had our own system built from scratch, which helps us to push notification to user's device, and it's as well as helping us to on a website side, also helping us to push the notification, so you get the notification like a ping sound on your browser. And this also helps us to push the notification to mobile apps who you have who installed the application on their device gets also notified about their activities on account. And we have a private API which is only dedicated for our instance. Of course, when you forking our website, it's not using that private API, and you have a choice to just switch it off and then use the public or the open source version, which is using without the pointing system. So that's also the one point to mention there. And some of the challenges we had to over the last year, we had few issues, not an issues, but some challenges to solve, and which is giving us perspective how to scale the product and how to make sure that it meets the standard and the quality we want in a Web 3.0 as well. Now, on a Web 2.0, you see the centralized servers or services, but never going down, and they are working fast. We want to be able to give similar experience to the Web 3.0, and one of those challenges were our full node scaling issue, where we had so many requests that full node couldn't catch up with the request, and HiveMind falling behind with the syncing and so on. And right now we scaled it, and there are a couple issues with overall we had I guess 2 times in last year, 2 times we had the DDoS attacks, but many people noticed it because we were able to solve it quickly. And we found that RPC nodes can be taken down easily by sending the post request, because RPC nodes usually take the post request, not GET requests. So there is less caching, and you can brute force them by sending the malware or the wrong formatted post request. And there are some solutions we are working on, making sure that we have a caching layer in between the full node and then caching layer which caches each request and make sure that this data can be served with the GET request. These are more like technical problems, but we had to solve them to make sure that we can scale without any problems, and the user interface is as fast as possible. It works as fast as it can. And onboarding issues, which I mentioned earlier, is that we had the botnets creating multiple accounts, and we had to use a couple services to make sure that we block some of the APIs which have the low quality. It of course hurt some of the legit users who are the privacy funds, who use a VPN but cannot get account because of they're using VPN. But but in the future we're thinking to enable them create account by just allowing them to purchase account, just like Splinterland does, and some other paid services, like we have a account creation service from Blocktrace and some other accounts. So similar service we're thinking to create so that it will help them to get in without even compromising their privacy. And we had the challenges also with how we retention of the new user. When user signs up, most of the time they don't stick around, and because after a couple comments they meet the message with RC limits, and they panic and they leave the website most of the time. And we start to give a high power delegation automatically. It's not much, but 5, 10 high power. And it is working for now, but we are not able to scale that in a way if there is mass signups like we saw a couple months ago from Splinterlands. We are not able to scale the high power delegations. So we are hoping there will be RC delegations coming out soon, so we can have this solved as well. And another challenge is product simplicity and user friendliness. We have been from beginning trying to simplify the product so it's not too much complex and not too many options, but also allowing people to do whatever operations there is on a blockchain. And it is hard in a way to make it user friendly, simple, as well as give the option to user to do the things. So we are still trying to figure out how to move things around and make sure that it doesn't overwhelm the new user. It also gives the advanced user the option to do the things in a way they want. So we are working in some cases. We are trying to redesign the pages and make sure that they are user friendly, and as well as keeping the functionality advanced user wants. And the speed in caching is also part of this, which I mentioned with the full node. The speed of the application of our website is really fast. Within 3 seconds, you get to see any page. It is really fast, but we want to keep that speedness and go it to the 1 second loading time. It's really challenging task, but we are trying to make sure we have a caching layer that helps with the repetitive requests and making sure that the user gets to the information they want as fast as possible. And yeah, vision is what's our near term or the long term goals and what we want to do. So one of this is having the dedicated community spaces or subspaces. It's in technical term, it's basically having the subdomain for your own community, and then you can easily attach to your own domain if you want, and make sure you can change the skin of that page of your community page and so on. This is technically also requires our, not only UI changes, but also the backend changes. So we are thinking about that. Then next one is the gatherings or the messaging and entertaining place where you can come together, just like many of the communities right now spending time on a Discord, but having dedicated community Discord within the platform would be really, really good, which helps with the privacy and encryption and owning your own data, which is what we want and which is what Web 3.0 is. And the marketplace for the growing NFT ecosystem, and as well as peer-to-peer exchange of goods and services, is also one of the really long-term goal of ours, but we will see if we can deliver it until next HiveFest. So that also depends on that. And of course, more marketing and awareness. We are doing every month some PR, and most of PRs mention Hive and then Ecency. So we're making sure that Hive name is out there and compete, so to speak. And okay, the next slide is how to get Ecency. So you can visit our website. It is fully functional, ecency.com, and you can get desktop app, Android and iOS apps with the following links. You can check our source codes, and if you are a developer, you can easily fork them and try to create alternatives or better user experience, or just help us build it, make a pull request or report issue. And Ecency also building HiveSearcher. HiveSearcher is a search engine which is powered by Elasticsearch. It's being used by a majority of the front ends, and it helps you to find the content you want. And this service is really useful. We are also using it for the relevant content. When you're opening the post, you can see what's relevant for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me? Okay. Okay. Well, that was a great presentation of Ecency. It's one of my favorite user interfaces next to PeakD and Hive Block. Cannot be preferential, obviously, but pixel perfect design. And I mean, HiveSearcher, really, if you're looking for something on Hive, really, guys, use HiveSearcher because the engine really works really well. It's a beautiful piece of development nerdism, and you get great results.